Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. Just looking at what Mary Anna has said about content creators claiming have more video footage on Jay. Let's hear what she's got to say. I was talking about this yesterday.
TikTokers and YouTubers, I hope you're well. We're going to get O'Keefed again. I can sense it. So the reason why I say O'Keefed is because Dan O'Keefe advised quite a few months ago that he had said footage of Jay Slater, and in this footage it showed Jay with no eyes and really bad burnt hands. The reason why I'm saying we're going to get O'Keefed again is because there's another content creator that's advised now for the second time that they have video footage of Jay Slater. Number one, is it legit? If it is legit, you've just incriminated yourself on a social media platform because you're withholding evidence on a crucial and corrupt case in regards to Jay Slater's disappearance and death. Number two, if it's for clout, that's pretty mad if you're doing that for views, if I'm honest, and that's quite weird. But if it's real, I understand you're trying to protect yourself and the people involved, etc. It's obviously a very messy game that there's a lot of people involved in this case. So I get that, but you are incriminating yourself by withholding evidence. Number two, we got we got Ayub's podcast coming up soon, haven't we, guys? We have got a podcast from a guy that sells free pairs for a $1. Right. This guy, I don't understand why people think that this podcast is going to be so interesting, it's going to have credible information and everyone's going to believe it. Mate, this guy sold us a false narrative from the start as well. He advised that Jay got in a car with them two, went up to the Airbnb. It went Ayub, Jay, Ayub's friend, got into the Airbnb. He gave him a blanket, he gave him a towel to have a shower. He also gave him a Camel cigarette. Then he got a knock at the door because he had to move his car. And when he looked in his wing mirror, what did he see? He saw Jay with a pair of trainers on. A very over-detailed story and a bullshit story as well. Don't understand why people think this is now going to be a credible podcast. He shared a cell with this guy, so they know each other. It's not like it's a random outsider that's doing a podcast with someone with a neutral background. It's going to be quite biased, isn't it? You got to think about that they know each other before. So why is it going to be credible evidence? I don't know.
Thank you, Mariana, and do go and subscribe to her. She's on TikTok and she's got a channel on YouTube as well. I think that with Ayub, knowing the guy who's interviewing him, we're not going to get really anything out of it. This is why he's putting it out there. It's possibly going to be a little bit about himself, his music and his travels and stuff like that. And I don't think he is going to say too much that are going to incriminate him in this case. He may well have a video in Jay of the back of a car, but we're not going to know what day this was. And he's not going to 100% give us a timeline. If he gives us a timeline, this happened and that happened, and this is a timeline, it will make us all think and give us something to go on. He's not going to give us that. This guy is a convicted rugs dealer who did quite a lot of time, basically, for a rugs ring in Cardiff. And I think I don't think, like I said, he's turned over a new leaf at the end of that. I just think he's just keeping what he does on the download now and have just learned a few things to actually duck and dive. Don't forget, he was the last person to actually see Jay Slater alive, and he was the one that said he left alive at the Airbnb. I honestly said from day one, months and months ago, that I don't believe that Jay walked up the road away from getting back to basically his hotel, walking for 11 and hours and hours and hours to get back to your hotel. Why would you do that when you can flag down a lift or catch a taxi? Especially if a lot of his valuables and money was in his hotel room. You can wing it, because obviously if the taxi driver doesn't get paid, then he will call the police. Do you know what I mean? Or he could have phoned his mum for assistance and stuff. I don't think he had his phone at that time, and I do believe someone had control over his phone. And I just think we just need to, like I said, stick together, because I don't think from Abe's podcast Dan O'Keefe, nothing's come of that. We've talked about that. Lou Cray, I'm not going to really mention it again unless she says she's actually given it to police or given it to another YouTuber to actually look into and make sense of it all. You know, we can't just keep going back and round in circles. And I understand the people, little people that are peed off in the stuff she's actually coming out with at the end of the day. But it doesn't make you look good when you're coming out with information you can't back it up. No one's perfect, but I think you've got to be careful what you put out there now. But with Ayub, I don't think we're going to get the truth. I just think he wants to put himself actually on the map. But all we want is justice for Jay Slater. Thank you. Do subscribe to Mariana and subscribe to myself, Streamline Entertainment. And thank you very much indeed. Take care.